Welcome back, everyone. We have a game, and we are spectating through the lovely perspective of LunaWICKEd. Shout out to them for giving us this POV. We were trying desperately to get the lobbies working, but it was not working in our favor. So shout out to Umi for this Discord stream and the POV we'll be looking at. But hey, the good thing about this Relic, we can see those opening awakenings built different, extra special. Everyone wants that extra stagger.
Most certainly, and of course, it's going to be so useful. Oh, is that the Japanese voice cast I
It
did?
is,
My
yes.
goodness, how very cultured of you, Mr. Umi. So Trick, Umi, Aimmel going up against LunaWICKEd. Of course, you don't have their names immediately, but on Oni Village as well. And so we're seeing Estelle going for Trick, I should say, going for the Estelle. Of course, you've got that blink ability, so useful on the goalie, especially with the long-ranged abilities. Although with built difference, that's going to be really nice playing into an opponent Juliet. Of course, if you want to play a Juliet, you want to be right and rugged in and amongst the backline, looking for those early KOs. We're into our first game, Vodible, finally at last. Let's get into it.
That we are, and for an update, we'll be skipping the streams for the quarterfinals too, so unfortunately we won't be able to show those, but we don't want to hold up the tournament too much, and we want to make sure that this game is as best as it can be, and wanted to make sure that all the streams were working properly so that we could get you this first match. Because again, really close teams, the 8th and 9th seed that we have. Talk about the ranks in a bit. You got to talk about these opening goal barriers down for everyone. Oni Village, usually one of the longest maps to play on as far as the length of the game goes. So we'll see how many overtimes we get.
I'd imagine we're going to be seeing quite a few of them. It's one of those maps which is so difficult to try and read, although that was an excellent read here from Donkers. Duncan on that to open up with our first goal of the series. But yeah, basically it's all about protecting one of your goal barriers. You can try and protect the two as long as you can, but because they're so far wide, because they're so split apart, you are expected to lose one, but then you've got a much smaller surface area to defend later on. A lovely triple hit there from Trick, and it's one barrier down for both sides.
I'm liking Gear using this goalie gear as well for Vyce so that they can just go forward with their own teleport and then get back in time using that eject button. It's always a fun one to use as a Vyce goalie, but no, the own goal from Donkers. What is happening?
There's a nice strum as well. Umi with some excellent pressure, and Donkers, as much as we saw a brilliant read early on, you also got to hit the core in the right direction. Just a nice call here from Umi, and that's already both of the goal barriers down for Astral Strikers. LunaWICKEd on the hunt. They lose a barrier of their own. Aimmel missing out. Here comes a Supernova. Misses out on Zarhynif, although the stagger is broken on that Juliet. Moving forward, Umi. It's a nice core flip, and there's a second for LunaWICKEd.
There we go, and who else but Umi to be the one to score this time? We're seeing two different perspectives of Vyce. We see a goalie Vyce and a forward Vyce, and Vyce is the spice of life is what it feels like on Oni Village, and they're both Onis, so it makes sense that we get to see them come to bear here. No Zentaro, unfortunately, as a half Oni. No Octavia, even with the recent adjustments after the mega nerf and then a little bit of a pullback from that. Octavia not as favored recently just because of all the buffs and debuffs that have happened with that character and some of the bugs we had before. But we do see the energy burst from Trick trying to see if they can get that final goal barrier, and a nice block to put that one on that final goal barrier to open up the goal gates and make it that much easier for LunaWICKEd to try and get this first set.
You always get the sense that it's going to be a battle of the goalkeepers on Oni Village, and you don't want those big lumbering defenders. You want someone with a bit of momentum. And the problem here that I always see with Vyce is that Supernova. It's a bit of a 50-50 flip. If you're going to be placed well, excellent. If you're not, the potential for an own goal is high. Lovely reaction here from Trick, using that blink. Here's the Rasmus up to Zarhynif. It's 3v2. Vyce is yet to spawn back in, more of an aggressive Vyce than what we saw from Gear 5 on the other side. It's a massive duel, but ultimately going against the Astral Strikers. Lovely read from Trick, and it was indeed a battle of the goalies, scoring from downtown.
That it was, and speaking of goalies, you don't typically see Estelle goalies now. In the beta you would a bunch of times before, but now you don't see it as often just because the cooldowns were nerfed since then. But still, people who are used to playing that in the beta, they're going to go with their favorites. And stacks on stacks, that's pretty good, so that if they're getting targeted, they can get some extra speed to work with and some of the damage that they've been going with. And I think it's more of a denial so that they aren't giving that to the other side. Heavy impacts available on Infinite. We do see the Monumentalist not going to be taken by the Juno this time. So specialized training for the Vyce so that they can do more damage with their special ability is huge too. And I like the drafts across the board for the most part. And you can see that Astral Strikers all went for that heavy impact, which they just want to do more and more damage. And speaking of that, they've all gotten KO'd almost.
Yeah, I mean, that did not go well. But to be fair, it's a fantastic defensive effort from Donkers. It is 3v2. Oh, around the corner. Lovely save off the line. But eventually, it's going to come and bite you. It's Aimmel with their first goal of the series.
There we go, Aimmel. The sub coming in, shout out to them as captain. They had some internet connection issues, so that's why it's always good to have alternates on your roster, just in case, to make sure things are working properly there. But now we get to see how things can work properly for the Astral Strikers if they want to get this going well for them. And unfortunately, with that special, it didn't really get it far enough for them. The power cord coming out and using those cooldowns. At this level of the game, the enemy players typically know the cooldowns, especially if they're playing Vyce themselves. They'll be like, okay, I got like 10 seconds or something for you to even have a power cord available. You don't have strike shot. They didn't take that goalie gear so that they're not going to be able to defend themselves easily. But now we are still seeing a bit of a pushback from Astral Strikers, and this is the best offense we've seen from them in a while, and the energy burst will get them their first goal here.
The power play came and it went, and I was slightly worried for them. It was great to see Zarhynif, who's been very quiet so far, actually getting in and amongst the back line and getting a lot of the stagger down. This is exactly why they drafted towards heavier impact plays, more damage dealt. Unfortunately, it still doesn't quite seem like enough, because we see the maneuverability from Trick in particular, able to skirt around the battlefield, got those long-range attacks. There's a lovely core flip read here from Gear 5, but still no gold barriers down as things stand for LunaWICKEd.
Unfortunate situation to be in if you're the Astral Strikers. You fought tooth and nail to try and get that one goal and tie things up. You had the opening goal, the opening salvo in the first set, but it was a losing battle after that, and now we see a KO go on the other side. And even with the game or the striker advantage, they couldn't do anything. You mentioned it, beautiful read.
And that's one of the greatest abilities of Rasmus. You wouldn't expect to necessarily see them on Oni Market, I don't think, but because they've got that little bit of range, especially if we're talking about a more aggressive Rasmus, the ability to reach across and save that primary for a moment like that, it catches out a defender, especially if they're isolated. And it really does seem to be a bit of a top-heavy formation from Astral Strikers at the moment. Donkers look to move upfield as much as they can, but they're struggling to stay relevant. That said, massive KO here. Let's see whether Astral Strikers can make LunaWICKEd pay.
Ooh. So unfortunate. We saw the Juliet fully stagger, but they couldn't get the KO. Instead, the KO goes the other direction, and now it's a 3-on-1 situation. UmiZoomi not going to be able to do much there. We almost saw the whiplash from Aimmel, enough for them to get the save, but it was all for naught. Tied up 2-2, and this game might be tied up 1-1 with sets.
In football, in soccer, we call that a sweaty goal. It's not just about the initial pass, it's about the pass back. A lovely 1-2, and it ensures that we go to a 5th point within this set. But Astral Strikers, they have to continue with this super ultra aggressive play, otherwise LunaWICKEd are going to find their way through the lines.
That they are going to try and find their way through the lines and see through every opening of the defense to try and get this final goal. LunaWICKEd, they want to go 2 up because then they just need one final nail in the coffin. Well, 3 goals specifically. That's what you need to not double tap, but triple tap your opponents to take them down on this game. And the Supernova coming out from Gear 5, not enough for them to get that really progress past the midfield line. UmiZoomi used their energy burst kind of well. They were hoping for that sweet spot in the corner to chip it up, but wasn't accurate enough.
My goodness, Zarhynif needs to get on the power cores immediately, struggling so much for that stagger, and Gear 5 forced into the core flip, only goes south and then back up again. Here's Umi, lovely read here from Donkers though, moving forward where Juliet is currently harassing the Rasmus, staying relevant in the final third, lovely, oh it just skirts past the goal barrier, unfortunate. Umi to Donkers, Zarhynif going north again, Umi, Gear 5, back to Donkers, Zarhynif, nobody managing to get the hit, the crucial hit on the goal barrier, but Donkers, the stagger is down. Here's Umi once again, Donkers looking for Zarhynif, not going to find him, of course. It's a power play. Oh, against their own goal barrier. It's a massive misplay.
Oh, so unfortunate to see there, but still, it is tied in overtime, and this is where the KOs matter even more so. So much longer, but you don't need a KO if you have the accuracy of a sniper. UmiZoomi is going to be zooming on through into at set 3, and that might be all they need.
Oh, man. You know, the the tempo starts to rise. Get your Will Ferrells out. It escalated quickly, perhaps a little too quickly for Donkers there. I mean, they were so competitive right up until the moment where that errant hit went north instead of northwest. You hit that gold barrier and all of a sudden your mind is thinking, well, now I've got to cover this wide open gap. It's a struggle at all times. And just looking across the draft, the prime time on the Rasmus, I'm really worried about missile propulsion for both Estelle and Vyce. I struggle to see a way back into this for Astral Strikers.
There's so much that can go right or wrong here for both teams based on that draft, and you saw a beautiful power chord that stunned everyone on the other side for a second. We do see some great work from UmiZoomi just to avoid Zarhynif as best as they can, because they know if they go close to them, that might be all she wrote for that Vyce on the side of LunaWICKEd. That's all she wrote for both of the gold barriers. No friends of blobs for Juno are available for them to save, and just a single pendulum strike, pendulum swing for them to get that. And Aimmel, who's gotten the most goals for their team, keeps the consistency up.
Started late, but really getting into their form, and Primetime only going to assist in them being more and more of a nuisance. How many great reads have we seen in the backline? How many pressure forces have we seen from this Rasmus? 2 gold barriers down, 1 apiece. It's a power play now for LunaWICKEd. That's excellent news for them, of course, looking for that second gold barrier hit. Zarhynif, the stagger, quarter of it going down almost in an instant. Lovely read from Gear 5 here, backs against the wall. Donkers back in play, and that's a bit of a waste on the Supernova from Gear 5.
Oof. KO off the other side. 3-on-2 situation. LunaWICKEd looking dangerous. So you get that final gold barrier down and wasted the energy burst. A great read from Gear 5, using their power chord to its utmost capabilities.
Here's Donkers. UmiZoomi down to Numi when it comes onto that stagger bar. And you can see Zarhynif is looking for the KO confirmation.
Oh,
trick.
no.
Oh, that's a lovely read. Lovely read from Donkers. The slimes are so tricky to try and understand. Excellent work from Astral Strikers, but every single point at this stage, Vodible, it seems like such a struggle.
Zarhynif able to get that final goal there to make it tied up, and you talked about the struggle. It has been a struggle for both sides in different aspects so far, but eventually someone has to push through and get that lead confidently, and you know Astral Strikers need it more than anyone, because if they go down here, it is a match point, set point, and upper bracket point for them if they do go down.
Oh, massive from Umi. Gears down, barriers open.
Oh, it's so good.
It's an ace. It's a clear, swept off the field, match point.
Ace from Umi, showing us how it is done as a Vyce forward. If you're wanting to know exactly how to play this character as a forward, just go back and watch this VOD on ! YouTube as well in the future. But either way, after a little shout out there, 7 seconds in, stagger from Aimmel almost fully gone. Zarhynif trying their best to go for these KOs, but a big Rasmus is very hard to take off the field.
Self-promote all you like, my lad. It's your show. We play by your rules. But the poster boys of round 1, as it stands, LunaWICKEd. Not exactly a perfect sweep if it comes to pass, but they know just one more goal barrier, just one more goal, and they see themselves into the second round. They got to get aggressive, Astral Strikers. Once again, I want to see that first set annoyance, resistance, but there's nothing here. Supernova into Zarhynif. They've got the goal barrier down. Now they look to strike, and they almost do. It's a massive read from Trick, using the blink. Donkers back to Zarhynif. No, is turned around.
So close here for Astral Strikers to tie things up, but they got to get out of their own half. They're just being pushed back from the brink. UmiZoomi not giving them room to breathe. Good leap from Donkers, but not enough of an accurate shot for them to get that goal. Trick is playing immaculately on Goalie. The energy burst perfectly timed off the corner. They hit it right back to themselves afterwards, and dangerous position to be in, but Donkers fully staggered. Just one good hit is going to send them off the side, but you can see LunaWICKEd barely holding on.
Yeah, the play was becoming a little too predictable there from Astral Strikers. Supernova back down, and here's Aimmel looking for the read. Down goes the Vyce, and here's Aimmel. Up, read by Donkers. Oh, it's a beautiful core flip! My goodness! Like a lightning strike, a zap!
Beautiful from Donkers to get that one on through. Perfect precision on the corner. Got the sweet spot, can't be stopped. We'll see if LunaWICKEd tear that they've been putting on, a show so far in these first few sets, will be stopped and matched by Astral Strikers. It all comes down to this goal.
Not done just yet. Needed a quick read there off their own goal barrier. Donkers forward, looking for stuns, looking for something to go through, but the only thing going through is the core onto their own goal barrier. It's a double stun. Zarhynif looking for Trick. Umi down on the stagger, but back in their own half. Aimmel looking for the read again. Gear reads it well enough, but here's Aimmel. No post! Off the bar and away it goes!
So close for LunaWICKEd to take this one. Aimel's got the shot, and no, a misplay by the goalie. Went elusive too soon. Didn't have the power chord accuracy, and Aimmel yet again gets that final goal for them to get the set and get the match. And, well, they're going to be matching up with KLB, the #1 seed that we have here, going into this next bit.
You win sets with defense, you win matches with offense. That story, very much exactly what we saw here from not so much the Astral Strikers, unfortunately, but, you know, we got to talk about Trick on that Estelle. We got to talk about UmiZoomi laying down the 26,000 damage. Aimmel, of course, picking up some incredibly great in front of goal picks, great reads off Gear 5. And really, it is as much a mental game, Omega Strikers, as it is a quick reaction game. We saw some really fast-paced gameplay, but it all comes down to one of the core fundamentals. If you have the second shot within a duel, you win the duel. You know, the core goes past your opponent. And I just feel like they kept on getting inside of Astral Strikers' heads.
That they did, and what a great series that was. And we're going to be quickly heading on over to a break after that to get the next round going for the quarterfinals. Already have some teams in the lower bracket. If you want to keep up with the bracket, exclamation point bracket there as well. But our next series, likely, unless we have any issues, KLB versus LunaWICKEd, the #1 seed, the best undefeated team in EPL currently, and KLB. They're trying to make a run after what we saw before. I mean, Joyers, they won the last event. Can they do it again at that #2 seed? There's still some more updates to come, but we're going to be taking this quick break. And then after that, we'll be going into this next match, so don't go anywhere.